Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Namdi Odipo. At this point, I dare say the mandate is on cruise control. My guests have over time exuded a sense that they understand the imperatives for quality and responsible leadership. Yet again, tonight, our focus remains on the 10th National Assembly, and I have two guests on standby lined up, and I'm very eager to speak to them on their experiences as they join their colleagues in enacting those legislations that would fast-track national development. Remember, we're live in Abuja, and this is the mandate. Well, my first guest for tonight is known as energetic and intellectually ambidextrous. He has presided over a peculiar chamber. He needed the patience of Job and the guile of David. We could say he made his mark. Marcus Onobun, currently the Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly and member-elect, Esan Central, Esan West, and Igube Federal Constituency. Welcome to the mandate.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians.
Mr. Speaker, you know, I listened to parts of your victory speech. You made inferences and promises not to betray the trust of your people, your constituents, those who voted you in. I don't know. What exactly did you mean when you said that you have learned lessons, during the campaigns, and that you are resolved at this point to always be on the side of the people? What exactly does that mean, especially as we go forward and beyond the election?
Well, thank you. What I meant is that you need to be on the side of the people to be able to win the confidence of the people, to be able to represent the people. And you agree with me that there was a wide wind, that blew across the country during these 2023 elections. The obedient wind, where the politicians who hitherto thought they had sway to their various areas, most of them lost elections. Governors lost elections. Their bid to return to Senate, and most big wings lost elections. And it will interest you to know that as we speak today, I'm the only candidate of the PDP that won elections in Edo to the Federal House of Representatives and even the Senate. So for me, it's as a reason of my, being with the people that actually brought me here, because it was a tight race, as a matter of fact. But the fact that I'm a grassroots politician, I'm a youth, and I was able to, relate with them at every given point. They reposed that confidence in me and they voted me to come to National Assembly.
And in the context of your new, in the context of the mandates that you've now been given by the same people, what does that say in terms of, always having the people on your side? Prospecting now and going forward, especially with the mandate they've given you, what are the targets that you're setting essentially so that you don't derail from the dreams and aspirations of your constituent?
Well, for me, lessons learned is that our people, yes, they are high expectations, but they don't expect too much. If you make yourself invisible, be rest assured that they will vote you out when you need their votes. But when you make yourself available, when you make yourself accessible, when you make yourself visible, I'm very sure that their expectations to a very large extent will be met. So for me, I'll be interacting with my constituent from time to time.
Periodically, intermittently, or regularly?
Regularly, periodically, intermittently, all of the above. To making sure that
you're not out of touch.
Exactly. They're the picture of what we are doing here in National Assembly. I'm going to set up a constituency office to which they can reach me all the time. And above all, my phones are going to be open by way of text messages, social media, and what have you. And I've made it very clear that what I'm coming to do in National Assembly to come and champion the youth inclusion in Nigeria, to come and champion women development, to come and champion women inclusiveness in politics. And above all, to also join my colleagues to see how we can push policies and programs that will guarantee food security in Nigeria. Over the years, as a reason of the banditry and all kind of insecurity in the land, you see that what we face today in Nigeria is food shortage, which has led to the fact that foodstuff prices have skyrocketed in the Nigerian market. So we'll do all that we can to be able to join hands with colleagues and as well help governments to turn out policies and programs that will guarantee security and also help to making sure that we appeal to Nigerians that this is the only country we have. We don't have any other place we call home. And
Indeed.
Once we are able to get this right, I'm sure that things will begin to turn around. And I believe and I'm very confident that the 10th Assembly, considering the crop of members elect that we have today, is not going to be business as usual. But I can assure Nigerians that we're going to be speaking on their behalf and things will turn out for the better.
You know, you've thrown up a couple of pointers for us. I mean, going forward in our conversation, and I'd like to see how, that we take on as many of these issues as possible, like you've thrown up. You've talked about joining hands with your colleagues, you know, and your time as Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, you're known to have administered a House of 24 members with just 10. So, I mean, beyond the issues of how challenging that must have been for you as Speaker, is also the issue of the challenge, or your willingness or the willingness to work with people from outside of your political camp. How vast are you likely to be in the practice of collaborative negotiations, either with competitors or with political opponents, as you head into the 10th National Assembly?
Well, first, talking about Edo State House of Assembly, where I'm currently the Speaker, it will interest you to know that I came on board as Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly October 2020 as a reason of the leadership tussle that was on between the warring faction. And that situation threw me up as the Speaker. And ever since then, I have come on board. I've become a stabilizing factor. But unfortunately, we're unable to get our colleagues on board. Reasons because there were cases established in courts and there were restrictions that not until those cases are over, they will not be able to come for inauguration because they challenged us in court. We were defendants in that suit. And there were other areas we also challenged their eligibility. Because once you are a member-elect, there are processes with which you have to go through before having your inauguration, as well as those processes are, getting to administer your CCB and a few other documentaries that you needed to do and all of that. And don't forget that the issues we had was not the fact that we didn't want our colleagues to join us in the House, but rather they were challenging the eligibility of His Excellency the Governor to issue a proclamation. And the court clearly mentioned that the Governor only have one opportunity to issue such a proclamation
and
for
we
one
know
assembly.
all of that.
Yeah.
But then now we're questioning your openness to be able to work with people from the other side of the divide. If the experience in Edo has in no way dented or affected your capability to work with political opponents or political competitors.
Well, interestingly, even amongst
especially
the 10,
now as you head to a much larger house.
yeah, interestingly, even amongst the 10, it will interest you to know that we had a member that was of the APC. And I'm a team player.
Okay.
And I have been in the APC before we moved into PDP as a reason of the infighting that was in the party then. And today, the result of the last election have thrown me up. And I'm coming to the national stage now to join hands with our brothers. And my belief is that coming to the 10th Assembly, that we're going to hang the garment of party out there and think of how we can, help to take Nigeria to the next level. And in the last few days that I've been in Abuja, I have been interacting with my colleagues. We have a group called the New Vision of the 10th National Assembly, where we have about over 200 of us new members elect, and we are all across board, and we relate like brothers, because for us at this point the responsibility is on our shoulders to see how we can legislate and take Nigeria to the next level. So when it comes to the issue of party, I don't see it as a barrier at all, because what bothers me most now is the development of Nigeria, and we understand the issue of the majority, the minority, and what have you at the National Assembly. And don't forget that it's no longer the usual two-party system. Today you have the APC, you have the PDP, you have Labour, you have ABGA, NMPP, and so many other parties. So these are parties that they all have something to bring on the table. And from what I've seen so far, relating with my colleagues across board, regardless of our region, you know, people from the up north, from the south, from the east, from the west, you know, you see that everybody is eager to, you know, come to bring about a remarkable change in helping Nigeria to be a better place.
You know, I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt that you have legislative experience. But even for you, the the Federal House of Representatives is a step up, meaning Nigeria is now your constituency beyond the people of Esan land. Do you feel adequate and fully prepared for the task ahead? And what gives you that edge?
Well, for me, the legislative experience, so to speak, I can tell you, yes, I'm coming from the state legislature, and as a presiding officer, I practically seen it all. And I believe that the responsibility of a lawmaker basically is to make laws, the powers to oversight, and to represent your people. As for the areas of representation, that's what I've been doing in a couple of years. And I can tell you that it's not, I'm no longer new, you know, from that angle, as well as the power of oversight. These are not things that I'm new to, having presided over the State House of Assembly. I can tell you that we have all that it takes to relate with our colleagues and do the needful by making sure we hold government accountable to every, you know, kobo we have powers to legislation. And on the aspect of lawmaking, it's not different from that of the state at all, because it's still the processes of, you know, taking up motion, you know, and doing all that you need to do. Also, again, making sure that you are able to get the support of your colleagues, you know. So for me, it's not new at all.
Which is very critical. That is where the issue of lobbying comes into play.
Of course, we have, considering my background, we have that God's given talent, you know, to persuade, you know, to be able to persuade our colleagues to see that, look, whatever we are bringing on board is for the betterment of Nigeria. Because today, even though I represent the Okpewolo Federal Constituency, which has to be Eastern West, Eastern Central, and Igwebe Federal Constituency, but I will be coming in to speak on behalf of Nigerians.
Indeed.
I'll be coming to speak for the Nigerian youths. I'll be coming to speak on behalf of Nigerian women. And all motions or bills are not going to be for my constituent alone, but for Nigerians. And we are going to see it from that angle to do the needful.
You know, you've mentioned these Nigerian women. You're almost sounding like a feminist. You know, you have also pledged to champion people-oriented bills. You talked about that would help guarantee food security, and then engendering women development. I'm sure you're aware of some of the pending gender bills before the 9th General Assembly, which generated lots of public debate and activism from gender groups, you know, protesting the decision of the National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly that is, stepping down some of these bills. So when you say you will champion women's development, do you perhaps mean picking up from where some of these advocacies stopped, or you will be pushing your own feminist agenda? I mean, do you have some of the bills already in the kitty that you're waiting to just launch as soon as you get into the 10th National Assembly?
Well, first, I don't have personally bills in the kitty to bring on board, but I believe in women inclusion, giving women equal opportunity, you know, to participate in, you know, all level of governance, whether at the local government, at the state, or at national. And we shouldn't have any form of discrimination against women at all. And I believe that once they are given this kind of support and platform, they will be able to do very well.
Sorry to butt in here.
Yes.
I just so I take you up on this line of thought, and I would like to go with an example. Say a group approaches you now as a federal lawmaker and says, look, we're a group interested in women development and inclusiveness, women inclusiveness in politics. And they said, look, this is our agenda. Let us legislate on, say, 40% women inclusion in appointive and legislative positions in Nigeria, so that now it becomes a function of law. Would you be interested in a bill like that or moving a bill like that?
Well, interestingly, I just mentioned that I believe in equal opportunity for women. And there shouldn't be any form of discrimination. If women are coming up with this 30% or 35% affirmative action or 40% or whatever, I personally believe that is some form of discrimination and limitation to women. So my advocacy is that we should give equal opportunity to women. And from the state where I'm coming from, I can tell you by the grace of God that the State Executive Council have, quite a number of women. And during the 5th alteration of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, one of the positions that was taken by the state, which I went to Asaba to read on behalf of my state, had to talk about women inclusion, guaranteeing women's rights, indigenship, women's ability to...
So these issues you're raising are some of the pending bills before the National...
Exactly. So coming to National Assembly and I come across opportunities like this, you can be rest assured that I'll give you my support.
You've mentioned youth inclusiveness, women development and inclusiveness, food security. In fact, you even talked about security. Are there perhaps other agenda or issues you'd also like to pursue or to see on the plate, of the 10th National Assembly for deliberations, either during plenary or on the floor of the House or in committee sittings or something? I mean, some other issues you perhaps have not talked about.
Yeah, like I said, I'm coming to the National Assembly. I'm coming here to make myself available. I want to be visible, and I want to make myself accessible to all Nigerians. And any bills that have to do with youth development, that have to guarantee food security, because once there is food security and we have enough in abundance in the land, I'm not sure we'll have the crisis that we have today. So instead of belaboring myself to, be here and there, I just want to make the agenda very clear that, look, any bill that had to guarantee the people food security, that had to guarantee security of lives and property in Nigeria, that had to do with youth development, youth mainstreaming, and youth inclusiveness is something that I'm up for. So while I'm available to do all that I need to do, my doors will also be open to all Nigerians who have ideas, because no one knows it all. I'm here in the National Assembly. There are a lot of Nigerians who are looking for members that will help them push, some of these concerns. I'm very much available to do that. And I'm sure I'll be able to also navigate to get some of my colleagues that will also key into this vision.
You've talked about you being a youth representative, you'll be a women representative, you have a vocal, voice at the Federal House of Representatives. I hope you're not, these are not mere rhetorics, and then we'll not see you come to Abuja and then we'll see pictures of former speaker of, because at that time you would have become former speaker and now a member of the House of Representatives, you become Honorable Onobun, sleeping on TV, and then, like I asked my guest, one of the guests that I had on the program, you become an Abuja landlord, and then you become a visitor to SM people, so that you only go once in a while to visit them, even though you've talked about opening constituency offices across town. But then, are these realistic goals for you? You don't become an Abuja landlord and a visitor to Esan Central, Esan West, and Igube, and you don't sleep on the floor of the house. What exactly? Paint us a picture of the level of vibrancy we're going to see in the 10th National Assembly from you.
Well, what you expect is a young, energetic, vibrant, young legislature who will come to Nigeria, whose voice will be heard, who will be a voice to the voiceless, who will be a voice to the Nigerian youths, who will be a voice to the Nigerian masses. Because for me, I'm a community man. I'm going to be more of a visitor to Abuja because I like to be around my people. If I don't have any official engagement, I don't see any reason why I should be in Abuja most of the weekends. Once it's Friday and we don't have sittings, legislative sittings or committee work, you can be rest assured that I'll be heading home to be with my people. So if you check my track records of what we've been able to do at the Edo State House of Assembly, I'm very sure that you understand when I say that, look, I am here to give my all to this work that ASAM people have asked me to come and represent them. And I, by the grace of God, I'm going to be working closely and hand in gloves with my colleagues from across the country to making sure that we make meaningful impact. Because as a young man, I believe that this is going to be a platform for me to also, climb to other responsibilities in the future. So for me, I can't wait to get this job started, and I believe that Nigerians will hear us.
Very well, because you do good, you can only do better next time. I mean, we've established the fact that you'll be new to the National Assembly. I mean, that's a fact. And then, of course, your party, the PDP, will be the largest minority. And that's an oxymoron, by the way. I mean, we've made allusions to that. But more important is the fact that you will still have a stake in the House leadership debate. Give me an idea of what quality constitution you expect to see in the next Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, who, of course, will definitely be from the ruling APC party.
Well, first, we are looking forward to having a speaker who looks across party borders, who looks beyond religious sentiments, who looks beyond ethnicity. And like I mentioned before, in the last few days, we have been interacting, and this is not within party lines. And I believe that at the end of the day, majority of us will align with someone, a detribalized Nigerian, who believes that the 10th Assembly is very unique. And considering the fact that we have multiple parties in the House, we want to elect a speaker who will be able to accommodate, who will be tolerant to other party with lesser members. And at the end of the day, it is the business of Nigerians that should be the utmost concern to everyone. And we have begun to identify a few numbers among those who have come around to say they are contested. Certainly, the speakership is going to come from the APC because they are the majority in the House. And I can assure you that we'll be giving the needed support as a party to such a person to do his best and, by the grace of God, help to engage the executive and not to shortchange Nigerians, but rather to engage the executive constructively in order to churn out policies and programs that will help to develop Nigeria.
Right, Honorable Marcus Onobun, Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, and member-elect, Essen Central, Essen West, and Igube Federal Constituency. I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the mandate tonight. It's been a pleasure, it's been a delight speaking with you on these matters. Thank you so much. And congratulations, by the way. I think I forgot to say that at the beginning. Congratulations and welcome to Abuja.
Thank you so much. That congratulation is very much in order.
I mean, this is the unofficial welcome, or, we could do the official welcome somewhere. Official. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Time now to take a break. When we return, we would have the superlative senator, aka 313, in the studio. In the event that you have absolutely no idea who that is, then just sit back and tarry. We'll be back presently. We brought you the ballot. Are you not tainted by association and not worried that your good manners may likely get corrupted?
No, I don't think so.
Personality data profiling of citizens in the country.
Now we bring you the mandate. Join us Mondays and Tuesdays at 10:05 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. The mandate showing on the network service of the NTA.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Oh boy, this one where I read, you carry machete, you see carry gun. Wetin you want take am do sef?
As I dey para like this, I don't vex.
Oh boy, calm down down now.
Like this, I dey go scatter those people businesses. You know, say they take scatter our people businesses, eh? You don't see them. See, I dey go there, as I dey go like, and they go show them better craze. They never see anything.
If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people own for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block oh. How you go take survive?
See, this way talk not true, but I see the vex.
Boy, calm down. Make we embrace peace. We peace and unity. Everybody.
My people, make we gum body with peace and unity. Oh. Make we learn to live as brothers and sisters, so that we country go fit move go permanent side. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. My next guest is a returning member of the Upper Legislative Chamber. I've heard his fans and supporters use different and many superlatives to describe him. Some say he's charismatic, they say he's erudite, he's visionary, and he's loved. These are just but a few. Well, who knows, but maybe the good people of Niger East, senatorial zone that he currently represents, see him in that light. I'd like to welcome Senator Mohammed Sani Musa to the mandate. Good to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Senator Sani is of the All Progressives Congress, and he will be returning to the Senate for a second time, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, Senator, what is the story behind the nickname 313?
Thank you very much.
Do I still have to pay to learn the secret?
Thank you very much. Good evening, Nigerians. I think by the time we go deep into our conversation, okay, you'll be able to know where 313 acronym is coming from.
Okay. So I'll still keep my money in my pocket.
Exactly.
So I was looking at how you managed your re-election campaign, and I noticed something quite striking about the format you deployed. You went about listing impact-related projects, whether from Shiroro to Pakoro to Rafi to Monya, Tafa, Suleja, Gurara, as well as Boso and Chachanga. And most of the projects listed in all of these LGAs had linkages to you. And I don't know, but I know lobbying is a tactic because not all of these projects were personally embarked or that you personally did. But how did you perhaps deploy lobbying so effectively as a legislative tool to achieve some of these projects in all of these local governments?
The principal reason for which my people decided to elect me in 2019 is for me to come over here and be able to, at least for any reason, deliver that dividend of democracy to them. I tried as much as possible to use the constituency project funds that is allocated to me to the best I can. And looking at the fact that I have 9 local governments, I tried as much as possible to spread all these funds across all the 9 local governments. In fact, I have 99 wards, and every ward you go in the 99 wards I have in my senatorial district, you will find a project which we delivered. We anchored so many projects, and we make sure that the agencies these projects are domiciled do the needful. We try as much as possible to at least meet up the standards of the contracts, because I personally try as much as I can to make sure that my project supervisors do the needful. And I think at the end of the day, it was a good result that we're seeing. And for me, I believe I have not even done anything, because it is expected of me. Today, if you look at everywhere, you will see that everywhere you touch, they need something. We are really backward in terms of infrastructure, in terms of human capital development, in terms of our youth gaining the necessary tools to be able to even be self-reliant, because not everyone will have to be engaged by government employment. So I try as much as possible to spread it's a disposition I felt is necessary for me to do, and that is what I am doing. And that is the reason why you see that my project is spread all over, from Shiroro to Monya to Rafi to Paikoro to Tafa local government, Suleja local government. If you look at my senatorial district covers close to about 27,000 square kilometers, and knowing to the fact that Niger State is having the largest size, size in terms of size in this country.
Yes.
So it's not easy, and most of my senatorial districts is agrarian. They are typical farmers, and that needs even the feeder roads. They need the equipment. They need the pesticides. They need so many fertilizer and so on. And I try as much as possible within these 4 years to be able to touch on every community, every ward of my senatorial district.
That's laudable, and I want to believe that having provided, that level of representation and leadership for Niger East, I mean, if you had that to the election victory that you enjoyed during the February 25 elections, I mean, that's enough to make you feel good about the quality of your representation. Would that also make you feel, as a grassrooter, does that bring you close to the people, or make you feel close to the people?
I have always been a grassroots politician. I can remember just after my NYSC in 1991, coming to 1992, when there was this a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left, SDP, NRC. I just finished and I decided to join NRC as a member of the youth wing. If you recall, in 1992, there was a convention in Port Harcourt, which, of course, I joined CAM with Choice 92, which was the platform at which the late, I forgot his traditional title, the Marafa, I think Marafa Sokoto Alhaji Umaru Shinkafi contested. So I was part of that team that was in Port Harcourt, trying to see how he can emerge as the presidential candidate. And from that time, I took interest in politics, and I've been a grassroots politician. I go from my ward level, from my PU unit, polling unit, to my ward, to my local government. I've been a grassroots politician, and I believe that there is nothing better than aspiring from the grassroots. And whatever I'm doing, I'm taking it back home. So that makes me very tick. I try as much as possible to keep that relationship between where I am at the center today and at my local level. So when you are talking about grassroots politician, I think I'm one, and I've been able to participate in everything they do. At least, even if I don't attend physically, my presence is always felt.
And I know, even though the needs of your people is always there, knocking, locking, at the corner, that corner of your heart, even when you're in Abuja, and of course, what they say about politics being local, politics is local. A politician derives prominence, derives power, derives responsibility of only because the people, his constituents at the local, at their locality have mandated them. So he holds their dreams and aspirations and comes to the center like Abuja, and works towards that. But then how do you reconcile the fact that, yes, you have a constituent at the local level, and yet again, Nigeria is your constituency? So in going forward, how do you reconcile that fact you're providing for your people in terms of legislation, and then there's also the bigger picture, which is Nigeria, which you hold first and foremost your responsibility to as well? I mean, is that too much of a work for a federal lawmaker like you, or by now you're used to that?
The essence of coming to the center and representing my people at the senatorial level, that is the National Assembly level, is not different from what I need to do when I'm back home. The primary assignment is that I'm in the Senate to represent them, to be their voice. And what I do here is that whatever I'm doing, I take cognizance of the fact that I need to have their input. And even when it comes to delicate decisions that we have to make in terms of either voting for something, like when the issue of the Electoral Act came, I have to consult with my constituents, and they gave me the direction where they feel is important, because even in my senatorial district, you can find out that there are certain places that are not well represented in terms of spread of the telecommunication services. And in so doing, some of my constituents said, look, whatever you're going to do when you're voting, make sure you take into consideration that there are certain areas that do not get connected to telecom. So when you are making a decision, really look at it. But going back to your question, coming to the center, Nigeria is my primary assignment today, being a senator of the Federal Republic, because whatever law we are going to make at the at the National Assembly, especially in the Senate, is going to be a law that will touch on the fabric of this country. And in as such, I'm doing that law, I'm taking into consideration Nigeria as my constituency. And then when you said, politics is local, but by the time you come into Senate, and when people are presenting their bills, the bills covers everywhere, part of Nigeria. It could be like a bill for a specific location. But what you have to consider is that you are considering that you're working for Nigerians. And anywhere it is, your input will be felt. And that is what I have tried to do. If you look at the kind of bills I presented, are bills that will touch on the common people on the streets of Nigeria. So the reason why I'm doing that is that my people have seen something in me and they presented me before, or the center, so that I will go there and make sure that, because what the man in Paikoro will feel is the same thing with what the man in Warri will be feeling in terms of either when you are talking about education, if you are talking about the economy, if you are talking about infrastructure. So every part of Nigeria is my constituency as the Senate. And whatever decision we take at the Senate, I believe we are taking it in the best interest of this country.
Distinguished, you talked about bills here that you have moved, or sponsored rather. That's the right phrase for it, or word for it, I beg your pardon, that you've used. And according to a report that I got somewhere, released by one of your legislative aides, Ibrahim Yahya, you're linked to about 30 bills that are at various stages of passage. I must say that is being very, very active. What drives or helps you to gauge your legislative responsiveness to issues of public good? Is it citizens' need and demand, or rather a self-actualization for you as a federal lawmaker?
It is when I'm able to meet the needs of my people or Nigerians that I'll be able to be satisfied and having the self-actualization.
So one gives you the order.
Yes. So I will not be, the self-esteem that will come in me doing it is only when I'm able to meet up what Nigerians will have expected from me. And most of the bills, if you look at them, like I have touched on even the common laborer on the streets, I try to bring a bill that will protect him, because you will see this unskilled labor You see domestic workers being abused. You will see laborers going to the site. At the end of the day, they are being paid little or nothing compared to what they have, the kind of service they have provided. And I felt there is need for them to be protected as well. Today, if a site decide to close down, and for someone that has been going to that site over many months working, and overnight that place is closed, he will start going around looking for where to go again. But if there's an actual contract between him and whoever that operates that site, you will see that at the end of the day, he has something to hold on to pending when he can have an alternative job. But today in Nigeria, it's not the case. I mean, you can even take a vehicle, go down to around Beggar Junction now, and you will see plumbers, you will see electricians, all these unskilled laborers. But they will go and work. At the end of the day, because there is no contract between them and whoever that is giving them that job. It's just a mutual agreement. At the end of the day, there is breach of that agreement, and these people are not paid their rights. So I try as much as possible to see that I bring a bill that will protect them, and a bill that will give them that succor that, look, for whatever reason, what I'm doing, I'm going to get my worth of what I have done. And then if you look at other bills that I presented, like the Critical Infrastructure Protection Bill, which tends to protect our critical infrastructures. If you recall during the NSAS riots, some bad guys decided to take advantage of that period, and they were destroying public properties. Look at what happened in Lagos, where these buses, almost about 100 or more, were destroyed. How does it, how do we feel? Because the same buses are meant for the common people that cannot afford to have a means of transportation, and government provided that. So with this bill, there are certain ways that we'll be able to protect those properties. There are a lot of edifices we have in this country that are not protected. I can give you a simple example with NTA today.
Yes, please go ahead.
With NTA, if you look at NTA's property, it's a government property that should be well protected. Today in this country, we don't have any law that gives that kind of protection, because when you are talking of protection, it's not just getting security men around it. No, there are certain things that you have to put in order. Is this place insured? Who is insuring it? All these things have to be looked into, and I believe that Nigeria needs that kind of law, and I made it. If you look at Eagle Square or the Federal Secretariat, sometimes when you are passing it, you will know that we're a country that even lacked maintenance. So this bill also provides some clauses that must be adhered to. There must be not only public properties. There are individuals that have built, super mega edifices, projects like Dangote now, the refinery. If there is any crisis in this country and people decided to go to loot in that area, how do you expect that place to come up? So with this bill, there can be a way that area will be protected. And then I've also been able to present a bill for tertiary institutions, health institutions in this country. If you go to our teaching hospitals today, they are not different with what you can see in remote areas. And those are specialized institutions that are supposed to give the best in terms of medical and health services or provision of health services. But if you look at the infrastructures that are there, they are either decayed or they are not even in any shape. So what I've tried to do is to see how we can set up a fund that will be able to give those institutions the needed financial backing and resources that will be able to make them acquire facilities, make them go into certain research to be able to set up a big standard. Those days, when you look at the University of Ibadan Teaching Hospital, it's one of the premier institutions that from either West African sub-region, people come there. They have been like they get what do you call it? They have been referred You know, they have been
Yeah.
referred to those
Referral.
places, referral, yeah, to those institutions. Like ABU, when you go to ABU, you see. But today, even the equipment they use, it's obsolete. So with this bill, if it comes to fruition, there will be a source of getting the resources, getting the money to be able to make them work.
Well, like I said, these bills are about 30 of them. There are various stages of passage, and I'm sure if I allow you, you would go on, and I mean, mention them. But of course, I know each bill that you've sponsored is targeted towards achieving a specific target, which is why we, the good people of Nigeria, sent you to the Senate to serve them, and I think you're doing quite well. You know, you served, we also know that you served as chairman, Senate Services Committee, and that was between June 2019 and June 2023. So it means you have experience. In fact, enough to now throw your hat into the ring for the leadership of the Senate. I'm sure you've heard of others, like the Senator Carlo and co, who have also joined in the race. So, but my mind is, you know, my question to you is, besides having the right to do so as a ranking member of the National Assembly, what is your justification for joining in the race? That is one. And two, what is your unique selling proposition as a candidate?
Yes, thank you very much for this very interesting question. Among all the people that have shown interest or declared interest to run for the office of the President of the Senate, I believe all of them are qualified to be there. In fact, for every senator that has been elected by his people to come and represent them at the National Assembly in Abuja, that person must have been qualified and competent to be there. And I believe they all have gathered the needed experiences. When you come to the legislature today, the legislative experience you gain over time, maybe like me, that first time I'm coming for the second time now, within a short period of time, maybe 1 year, I've been able to know the workings of the National Assembly. And being a first timer and given the responsibility of chairing a committee like the Senate Services, which is more or less like the secretary to the government of the National Assembly, I've been able to know in and out of it, either working with the management, either working with the legislative aides, either working with your colleague senators, or interfacing with the outside in terms of those that provide necessary services to the National Assembly, or interacting with your colleagues at the House of Representatives. I think that office have given me all the necessary tools to be able to understand the workings of the National Assembly. So when one is talking about experiences over time, yes, by convention we have ranking in the National Assembly, and based on the standing order of the National Assembly, of the Senate, once you come to the Senate first time and you are coming back the second time, you are a ranking senator. But we also have consideration to those that have been coming over time. There are those that have been there since 1999. There are others that have been National Assembly or the Senate coming for the third time, for the fourth time. Yeah, you have to accord them that legislative respect.
Yes.
But when you are talking about experience, what they have gained over all this period, you have also gained it, because what is there is the interaction between the legislators and the executive, and you're talking about MDAs, how they come, you know, and then what you do to give the fabric of this country in terms of democracy the strength to be able to deliver what you are expected to do. I think we've gained all that. Why I'm talking about what? It's about the legislation will be given out, like how do you even present a bill or a motion, and how are those resolutions being adopted, or how do you make sure that the bill you have acted on, you presented it back to your constituents and they looked at it, and you present it to Nigerians, they deliberate on it, debate on it in a public hearing, and then how do you take it back? And then we have also legislators, legislative staff that do the drafting. How do you interrelate with them? There are basically certain things that, okay, when you come into the National Assembly first time, You have to understudy the place and be able to. And I believe that I have acquainted myself with that. And I believe that for every reason, there should be respect between you and your colleagues. You must accord them their respect. You must be very transparent with them. And when it comes to the issue of ways and means within the National Assembly, you should be able as a leader to be very transparent. Because today there have been so much debates of the budget of the National Assembly. If I am the leader, if I am the president of the Senate tomorrow, I will be able to make it very clear and people will understand what it means. This means and ways we are talking about in the National Assembly is a very strong committee. It can be an ad hoc committee that if you go to climes like the United States of America, where this democracy we are growing from, you will see that the engine room of the Senate or the engine room of the Congress is that committee, and which I happen to be
Senator,
sharing today.
I have patiently listened to you, and you have given me some reasons why you should be considered. You know, why you should be voted for. You've talked about, perhaps, I'll take them to be some of your unique selling propositions. You've talked about having a deep knowledge of the workings of the National Assembly, your ability to liaise with your colleagues, mutual respect and all of that. What then is your justification? Because first off, you know that your party, as the ruling party, would need to first maybe zone the Senate presidency to the North Central. And then maybe microzone it then to Niger State. And then there you may stand a chance. So is that perhaps your justification?
I wish the party...
Are you waiting for the zoning perhaps to the North Central and perhaps to microzoning to Niger State?
I wish the party will do that. I am a very loyal party man. I believe in the supremacy of the party, and I believe that the members of the National Working Committee are men and women of integrity. I believe that for them to be at that position of being in the National Working Committee of the governing party, I see them like some of the rare gems that this country can always depend on. And as so doing, whatever insight or vision or wisdom they will use in making sure that there is an equitable distribution of leadership positions in this country, I think I won't say they will get it wrong. They would go on the right direction. So if for any reason they decide, there must be a reason for them to be able to say, okay, the Senate presidency will come from the North Central. Maybe they will look at they will aggregate the votes that we've been given, and then our
I was waiting for something like this.
And the time. I mean, always we are always there for them. North Central.
So your contribution...
North Central Zone have always aligned with the governing party. From 2015 till date, we are one zone that have always been supportive. Despite the fact that we get less. After attaining victory, North Central have always not been the zone that have really gotten what.
So now may just be a good time for payback for all of what you've done
and
for the party.
And if you look at it today, we just lost Plateau. Out of 6 states, we are able to bring 5 governors. And we are able to give close to about 10 senators elect. So I think North Central deserves that. But in a country, a complex country like Nigeria, and a secular society like ours, we should also be able to be fair enough to look at and give consideration to other zones.
So I'll take that. Let me just quickly hurry you along because we're fast losing time. But then even as a potential Senate president, well, we're headed there when the election comes. Give me an idea, or an outline of the kind of 10th National Assembly that you'd like to have in terms of quality of debate, in terms of quality of bills and maybe motions, and also, and more importantly, in terms of managing the intricacies of contemporary legislative craft And I mean in a manner that registers total independence of the legislature.
I am one person that, first and foremost, under my leadership, I will want to protect the Constitution. And when you protect the Constitution, then every other thing will follow up the way it's supposed to be. I want to see a Senate or a National Assembly that is very independent. I want to see where we can have robust debates over issues. I want to see where we can also, if we are not okay with whatever the executive presented, we'll be able to debate it and disagree.
Okay.
Because the strength of our character in the Senate should be able to be the one that will translate the feelings and aspirations of Nigerians. And I believe this is the only institution that will be able to protect democracy.
Okay.
And I want to see an institution that will be a referral point to other African countries, because we are the largest democracy in Africa.
Indeed.
And we should be able to give bills, present resolutions.
So your leadership would inspire a vibrant National Assembly. I mean, a vibrant Senate.
Vibrant and independent National Assembly.
Very, very good. And very quickly too, in less than 30 seconds, if that's possible. How seriously would you take the issue of legislative oversight functions? I'm sure you remember the drop your microphone, honorable minister. Would we be seeing things like that, or will see more openness?
By the time we are protecting the Constitution and adhering to what the Constitution spells out, there is no minister that will hold microphone.
Okay. I'd like to thank you so much, Senator Muhammad Sani Musa, Niger East, for coming on our programs tonight. We would like to, on behalf of the NTA, on behalf of the good people of Niger East, also wish you very good luck in your current campaign to clinch the Senate leadership. And thank you so much for coming on our programs tonight.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
And that's it for tonight. The Mandate returns fresh and brand new on Monday next week. Do have a wonderful Easter holiday. And best of the season to our Christian brothers and sisters. I'll see you again, as promised, on Monday. My name is Nnamdi Odipo. Bye for now.